Jupiter Class Battlestar was a type of warship operated by the colonial fleet for nearly its entire duration. Whilst design was partially based upon the earlier model Artemis class, they were a battleship or carrier hybrid used in the centre of colonial fleets. There was an initial order of 12, each to represent one of the 12 colonies of Cobalt. For example, Galactica was meant to represent Caprica, and also to show a degree of unity within the recently established 12 colonies of Cobalt. Out of these original 12 Battlestars, only 2 would survive the war fully intact, with only Galactica surviving until the fall of the 12 colonies. A standard Jupiter class measures approximately 1,438 meters. The Jupiter classes were armed with weapons scattered throughout the ship, primarily located along its dorsal and ventral hull, each capable of firing large shells at any given target. These batteries made the Jupiter class one of the heavy hitters in the early colonial fleet during the First Cylon War. It was only during the post-war period, with greater advances in naval technology, did the newer and larger battlestars of the Mercury class, such as the Pegasus, began to outshine the Jupiter in their offensive role. Ships of this class have 4 main rearward-facing sublight engines mounted on their outer hull, 2 on the dorsal and ventral surfaces. Small manoeuvring thrusters are also scattered throughout the ship to allow it to manoeuvre quickly in combat scenarios, while 2 synced FDL drives are installed aboard to allow for fast and light travel. With a Jupiter class able to house its FDL engines internally, this allows it greater security compared to its smaller counterparts. While state-of-the-art of the Colonials, even by the time of its introduction during the early First Cylon War, the FDL engines of the Jupiter class were subpar to contemporary Cylon design, though by the time of the fall of the 12 colonies, this weakness was largely elevated as the relatively unupgraded Battlestar Galactica was able to jump every 2 minutes or so. The Jupiter class Battlestars have over 500 point defense weapon systems scattered throughout the ship to defend against incoming ordnance, such as enemy fighters or other types of missiles. As virtually every other colonial vessel, this is only half of the ship's defensive potential. 2-layered armor plating provides effective defense against both conventional and nuclear weapons. Large flight decks support a sizable complement of fighters, multi-purpose crafts, and shuttles. During the fall of the 12 colonies, a Jupiter-class Battlestar carried an assortment of Vipers and Raptors, as well as colonial shuttles. While the precise numbers are not known, the Jupiter classes do possess 40 launch tubes, which would therefore indicate a standard loadout would consist of at least 80 Vipers. The port and starboard flight pods were designed to be retractable, while Vipers were launched via special tubes on the side of the flight pods. All craft needed to land on the flight deck, which would be extended when needed. As this was required, the port and starboard flight decks would be exposed to vacuum conditions. The deck will be magnetized to stimulate gravity conditions when extended. Due to the serious threat of Cylon hacking imposed on the colonial fleet, Jupiter classes were designed to rely on primitive computers without networking, so were less advanced than older ships in the fleet. These computers, in their original design or in later refits, were actually capable of being networked if necessary, but by standard procedure were not. Calculations for fast and light speed were limited as a result of this. By the fall of 12 colonies, the Galactica's computers were considerably slower at computing jumps than modern civilian ships, if not networked. Following the First Cylon War, the remaining Jupiter-class vessels would remain in service unpatrolled to maintain security and to be wary of potential resumption of hostility. The Galactica was actually kept in service far longer than 2 other unnamed vessels, as it was believed to be good for morale to have the old war vessel still in action. Though prior to its decommissioning, the Galactica was used to send military officers as a dead-end role, such as the transfer of Odama from the Valkyrie following a failed recon operation. The Galactica towards the end of its lifespan, was being slowly turned into a mobile museum. The starboard flight pod had its launch tubes cannibalized to provide space for a gift shop, while the landing pad was pressurized behind 2 glass windows so museum exhibits could be placed within. This included a complement of Mark II Vipers. Despite these changes, the ship continued to be used for military purposes throughout this period and received the updated command and navigation program sent to all Battlestars. The CMP was, of course, left unused due to a ship tradition of disallowing computer networking. The last of the Jupiter classes, the Galactica, would serve for over 60 years, from the early days of the First Cylon War to the fall of the 12 colonies, and eventually finding Earth. The Galactica served far longer than expected. It was ultimately broken by its final journey and would never jump again. It protected and guided the last remnants of the human population to a new home, and eventually found its end on humanity's own terms when it was guided by Samuel Anders into the sun. Thanks for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, bye.